something bigger. So the idea of expanded sanctuaries for us is that the community, since it's a multi-species community, in this community there are humans too. And so the idea of expanded sanctuaries for us is to allow, to let become this place a cultural center. So it's a place where people can gather, people can meet. Thank you, good morning. So great to see people here at this time. So thank you for joining this presentation. So the goal of the presentation, Animal Sanctuaries, the Future We Imagine, is not to say how an animal sanctuary should be. It's just our idea of animal sanctuary, so it's a way to share what we do. And I think we can see that animal sanctuaries can have a role, they can play a role within the animal rights movement. And I think at the end we understand because we need to protect those places. So just, this is me, and next to me is the co-founder of the sanctuary. So Thomas, the goat, is a co-founder. I'm not the founder. The founder is a human animal, Massimo, and I'm not gonna go into the story of the sanctuary. It would be beautiful to share, but it's a long story, but just to say that this place was a farm before. So it's a beautiful story of a transformation into something positive. So yeah, as she said, I've been doing activism, being arrested, organizing different types of actions, doing lots of things all over Europe. But then I bumped into animal sanctuaries, and I understood that I sensed there is something powerful within those places. And it's still a way to keep doing activism, do advocacy, and do so many things. And so before going deeper into what I want to say, I want you to connect more with the sanctuary and see a video, and then we go on.
China Capra jumps to 2 feet creep up the road, 2 photo to record me lumps and war. Their ancestors is chance. Very yellow white flash, a violent red Christmas whips light as lips like grass, but so high from the leak avalanche, mine is a watery pit, painless with immense distance from medic, from colleague, friend, enemy, foe, in 5 years from his leg, from Utah. Do not spray into eyes, I have sprayed you into my eyes. Last rattle, last chokes, all colors and cares, glazed to grey, shriveled and stricken to dots. The left hand grasp, but the body grasping up. The photographic more. 3, 4, 1, 4, 1, 5, and 5, no longer my more. Faded for home in 54, doors open like arms, my love. With a great closeness to Capra, dark after nothing reunited with his neck and with Utah. I have sprayed you into my eyes.
Thank you very much. I wanted to show the video at the beginning because I think it's important to connect more with what we are doing. And I want to restart with this sentence, which is a kind of mantra, I think, for us at the Sanctuary, but I think as activists, we constantly imagine new possibilities of coexistence, new future, new ways of living together as species. And so this is a kind of reminder for us every day, and that's what is driving us to do more and more and more, because we constantly imagine how we can make it better. So just to say a few things, animals, you know, are entering animal sanctuaries coming from farms, slaughterhouses, exploitative places. And so when they come inside the sanctuary, they finally become unproductive, and they get completely free from any function the system assigned to them. So it's a weird moment for them, because the only thing they know, it's like living in an exploitative place. So it's kind of a new beginning. And so it starts a complex journey of self-appropriation. So that means that to understand who they are, who they want to be, what are their needs, they need time. So every animal needs time. They got traumas, they got a different life. So it takes time for them to discover themselves. And for us inside the sanctuary, it's important to analyze this. And something beautiful, we always want to say that when an animal enters an animal sanctuary, is no longer a victim. A new life is starting, an adventure is starting, an exploration is starting, and so they become finally owner of their own life, and it's their way to express themselves and be who they want to be. Sometimes inside animal sanctuaries we fail, we project our expectation, our ideas. We do it with humans too, and we do it with other animals too, so we should remember every time that we let them be free from our expectation and let them be who they want to be. So our role is just to be facilitators. So we try to understand where they come from, what is their ethology, what are their needs, as much as we can discover this. And we are just facilitators, so to allow them to have the best life path they can have. So all of this in our sanctuary brought us to pressure the municipality. And so we got, so the Montagna Libera Tutti, which in English would be the Free All Mountain, is a mountain, is a big land that we got from the municipality. It's not our property, so things can change. But we've pressured the municipality to get it, so we have this land, and this allowed us to have 500 animals, because the area is huge, and every animal in its journey of self-appropriation can potentially even decide to live into the wild. So we have animals having a kind of wildlife. Of course, we check them. We feel responsible, so we check if everything is okay. But some of them, especially cows, goats, some horses, sheep sometimes, they got a wildlife again. So it's a very long journey, but they can rediscover themselves fully. And all of this for us, it's a multi-species community. So different species living together, organizing their spaces, creating a social structure with rules, with dynamics. It's beautiful to observe. They created the community. And this brings me to something bigger. So the idea of expanded sanctuaries for us is that the community, since it's a multi-species community, in this community there are humans too. And so the idea of expanded sanctuaries for us is to allow to let become this place a cultural center. So it's a place where people can gather, people can meet, people can exchange idea. We have a social group. We invite guests. In this picture again is Soya the cow. I guess many of you know. So this was a queer event. I use this picture as an example, but we will see more later. So the sanctuary is not just a place to welcome animals and take care of them, but it becomes also a place where we actively do things to make a change with other people. So it's a cultural center. We have hundreds of people coming every month. So we advocate for animal liberation in different ways. So now we're going to see just some. So we organize open days, we organize events, we organize guided tours, and what we've seen is that when we go around with people and we tell the stories of the animals by looking at them in the eye, by observing them, this is kind of transformational with people. They really connect with them, and we feel that a seed is planted inside those people. Sorry, give me a second. So yeah, we find the open days very impactful, and people also become witnesses of the stories. And so we see people starting telling the stories of the animals on their social media around, and we hear people knowing the names of the animals and telling the stories, where they came from, what are they doing now, their daily life, their friends, and so on. Of course, we got hundreds of people every month, and many of them, the majority of them, are non-vegans. So for us, this is a big success. But of course, we also want them to see solutions, and so we have two amazing chefs, Gabriele and Renata, that every time cook amazing food for them, so vegan meals, cake, delicious things. So this is something very important we can do inside sanctuaries, because we can welcome non-vegans through positive communication. Somehow they come, they don't feel scared, and so we have an impact on them also in this way. Sanctuaries can go inside schools. A sanctuary is a container of stories, positive stories. Even though we tell so many hard things, we tell the truth. We tell where the animals come from. But then at the end, it's a positive story. And so somehow it made it through schools as well. So we have, a sanctuary can have programs for different ages. So we work with very young students, we work with universities, and at the end, after going to school, we bring them to the sanctuary, and the experience goes on. We don't know how they will grow, but definitely a sanctuary can be a place to really welcome schools. The veterinary students program, it's another important topic for us, because veterinarians that work for the so-called farmed animals, usually when they go inside farms and they talk to the farmers and so on, they never had the chance to really practice and experience how to take care of the animals, because a farmer preferred to send them the animals to slaughter rather than spending money on them. So the result is that veterinarians that work for farmed animals do not know what to do. We could open a long topic about this. Over the years, we changed veterinarians so many times. So doing this program for us is really important to work with students, university students that study veterinary, because they can practice, they can do first aid things, but the main role and the main goal for us is to try to change their point of view, because they come with a very academic preparation, which is completely wrong. And so for us, it's an opportunity to let them see the animals in a new perspective. This is Ferruccio. Probably you remember him in the video before. So he was terribly injured, and no one wanted to help him. So we called universities all over Italy. We called veterinarians all over Italy. And the only answer we got was euthanasia, to go back to what I just said about veterinarians. And so this is unacceptable, so we kept looking for a solution. We couldn't accept that no one wanted to take care of him. So luckily at the end we found a veterinarian that started researching, studying, and so on. So he decided to try. Of course there is a risk, but at least we want someone to try. And so now Ferruccio is running free, jumping around, staying with lots of cows. So a sanctuary can also become a hospital, but it can become a research center. This is another important case. Nicolò, he couldn't even stand on his leg. And after 2 years of osteopathy, now Nicolò can walk. So she's an osteopath. She never tried to do this on cows. We don't know any other cases around the world. Maybe there are, I don't know. But still, it's probably one of the first one, and it's still a case study. So this opens up to many new things. We welcome marginalized social groups, social justice groups. We do open days with them, but we also organize activities. So for example, here is a psychiatric institute. So they come every week, they're very independent, and it's part of their therapy. So also for us, being with those groups, it's a very transformative experience because it allows us to see things in a different way. For example, by staying with them, we see the interconnection between the disability movement and the animal rights movement. But this is just an example. We also have many others, social justice groups coming. We invite special guests talking about other forms of oppressions. We try to intersect the anti-speciesism with the other forms of oppression. This is Soya the cow again. There are very new pictures. I love them, so I used many. Just to give you an example that so this is just a queer event that is also highlighting feminism, patriarchy, and so on. But we had also Palestinian events and many other things. Yesterday night, there was an event in the sanctuary. There was a feminist comedian, stand-up comedy. So I'm very sad I lost it, but just to say it was a very fun night. I saw the stories before. It was a very fun night at the sanctuary. So it's a way to do guided tours, talk about the stories, but then at the end, it's also a way to give, to exchange things with other people, and it's a way to grow all together. So intersectionality is definitely one of our core values. Bonus picture for you that know Soya. We also do tree planting activities, rewilding activities. We've planted 500 trees. It's not so much, but it gives us the idea that little wild animals are coming back. So this is definitely something we want to bring to another level. I didn't find a better picture for this, but so this is to say that social media is a big work. So we really work hard behind social media, but what we really want is going on the mainstream media. And again, since a sanctuary is a container of stories, we made it through somehow. We got covered on so many national TV channels, radios, and of course, it's not easy to go on media, but there is something inside animal sanctuaries can go through. I think as animal rights activists, we know how hard it is to go on media. And somehow there is something. So for us, it's very important because we can make a cultural change. So this is something we want to implement more and more. So those were just examples of what an animal sanctuary could be, can do, but there are many, many other things. Until last year, animal sanctuaries in Italy were regulated by the same law that regulates farms. So, and it was until last year that we got actually a legal recognition. So it was observed that an animal sanctuaries actually should have followed the same procedure as farms, but that's how it was. And together with the Italian network of animal sanctuaries, we campaigned so much with the Ministry of Health for about 10 years. And so last year there was this law, a new law passing, and it was saying that we exist, basically. And it was saying that the animals that are coming out from the food system, and so they are taken out from the database of the food system and enter an animal sanctuaries, can no longer be taken back into the food chain. So this is revolutionary. The law was saying that the animals were free. We were celebrating so much. We were super happy, you cannot even imagine, until September 20 last year. So in front of the sanctuary Capra Libera, as you can see here, police, activists, and even here, it happened that the local authorities of the Ministry of Health and the police got in front of this place, acting with lots of violence. I don't know if you saw the videos, it's crazy. They started beating activists like crazy, lots of violence, destroying fences, gates. They entered and they killed 9 pigs because of swine flu. So there is no time to really go deep into the story, but this is to say that the law that has passed doesn't make any sense. And when the institutions want to have power, they still have power. And when something happened that they feel that you can somehow attack the profit of the big food system, that's what's gonna happen. And so in Italy, we are still campaigning a lot. We are demanding a legal recognition, a real one, a proper one that really protect those places because we do not feel safe. What happened last year, it can happen anytime. It can happen now, tomorrow, in a month. And so we feel very scared. We want a law that allow us to feel safe and to put in place procedure to protect those animals with quarantine or whatever in front of viruses, pandemic emergencies, and so on. There can be solutions. So we want a law that allow us to do this. I'm saying this because I think it's a great opportunity to share it here. This campaign, it's at a national level in Italy, but I think it's time to escalate it at a European level because we are part of the European Union and we need a European law that protect those places. So it's a way to connect in case you are connected with animal sanctuaries, you know politicians that can make a change or anything you have in mind, idea, it's a way to connect here, or if you follow this online, just text us, because I think it's time to bring it up. And this is the last slide. I just wanted to give a sense of the impact an animal sanctuary can have, and I decided to put this sentence that was written by a friend of mine, Alessia Camposeo, that she made the thesis on a study of animal sanctuaries, and she, I think she phrased it in such a perfect way that when I read it, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what we think. So I wanted to close with her sentence. The idea of expanded sanctuaries strive to create a better society for human and non-human animals and to possibly apply these methods in other contexts. In a society that often separates and oppresses people and does not take a stand against injustice, animal sanctuaries provide examples of resistance and future possibility of coexistence. So this, I think, summarizes our idea of animal sanctuary. And remember this name, Alessia Camposeo, together with Alessio Schiazza, because they just released the trailer of a documentary that is coming out on September 20. It's about what happened in front of the sanctuary Capra Libera in Italy. So I think it would be very valuable if you help spreading out this sanctuary that is coming out soon. The release date is going to be in Milan on September 20. We will have a big demonstration about this, and then there will be the documentary coming out in the cinema. I decided to throw so many things one after another because I really wanted to give you a sense. I think every slide could be a presentation itself, but since it's the very first time of the Capra Libera Tutti Sanctuary here, I wanted to give you a general understanding. So I hope it was not too much, but yeah, thank you for listening, and I think now it's time to... And in case you want to connect, you can find the English section on the website, text us, you can find everywhere. I'm here all day, so come anytime you want, and yeah.
Thank you so much, Simone, for your presentation. We really loved it. I'm sure there are lots of questions for you. We're ready to take some. Also.
Thank you. Simone, you are so amazing. It's so inspiring. We love you so much. You made us cry.
Me too,
How dare
me
you?
too.
And it's so inspiring. I think you are the best example I can envision. So
Oh,
thank
this
you
is too
so
much, I
much.
guess.
It's
Ooh.
so inspiring. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you. You made me emotional. I love you, you know.
How many volunteers do you have here? So how many
that's
volunteers do you have?
Well, good question.
yes.
It's a particular topic for us because we live outside Rome. It's not really easy to get there with public transportation. It's possible, but not easy. Plus, during the week, people have to work. So, luckily, nowadays, we can say we have 2 employees because we do not have volunteers on a daily basis. And the sanctuary is massive. It's like almost 500 hectares. It's crazy big. And there are different areas to check. So in a sense, in a way, it's easy to manage it because there's not so much to clean because the animals are spread into the wild. But there's so many other things we can do. Just moving from a place to another, it takes time. So we didn't have so many volunteers, but we have an amazing team of a lot of volunteers during the events. So we open to the public, deciding the dates with the team. So we are sure that when we open to the public, we have an amazing team to cover everything. But on a daily basis, we didn't have volunteers. So one of our struggle until last year was to raise funds so we could cover a salary for actually two people. And so now we have 2 employees, and it's still very challenging. So we want to expand the team because it's still a lot of work on us. But yeah, just to say. But I know other sanctuaries that they can do better because they are closer to the city, so it's easier also for volunteers to go.
Any more comments or questions?
Cheers, Simone. I wanted to ask, how connected are sanctuaries with each other in Italy or like your specific region? Are sanctuaries often communicating with each other to provide support or information or guidance to each other?
So we are part of this network of Italian sanctuaries. It's called Rete dei Sanctuari. I wanted to say it before I forgot it. And we are part of this network for a few years. But I think what happened at the Capra Libera Sanctuary really made us united. Not that we didn't were before. We didn't was before. Oh, sorry, we weren't before. But what happened there, it really made us stronger. We brought thousands of people on the street and so on. And so we were connected before in a way that we were sharing experiences, like, I don't know, for example, an animal is sick. What do you do when this happens? Because veterinarians don't really know. So it's a way of sharing experiences or helping each other with some animals that need to be homed and so on. But with the tragedy at the Capra Libera Sanctuary, we feel now we are part of something, a movement, and we are very, very connected. So we have a chat and we are constantly in communication. Yeah. Not all Italian sanctuaries are part of this. Some decide to not do it, but we are still in contact in a way. Others do not, maybe there are values, and so maybe they don't meet some values, and that's okay, but it doesn't make sense to include them into the network.
Hey man, I was also going to say you're the most perfect, amazing person, but Lena beat me to it, so. No.
Please, too much. No, you
No.
too. All of you here.
No, my question's not a very serious one. It's more of like an interesting or funny one. Some of these photos are really amazing and seem to capture these really funny moments. And I know from being at sanctuaries and speaking to a lot of workers that there's lots of stories of especially funny human and non-human interactions. Can you tell us a funny story of yours or your favorite story of one of those?
Well, there are really many. And one of for example, let's take Ferruccio, the cow, the young one that you saw in the picture, and also that you saw in the video. we projected our expectation on him. So after he took all the care and he was recovered, and we thought now it's time for him to go to the to meet all the other cows, because we think he's a cow, he wants to stay with the cow. And so we were projecting our ideas, and we were pushing in a way that we were designing everything to let him meet the cows, and we didn't want to stay with them. So we organized everything in a way that he could have joined them, and then he showed, I don't care, I want to do my own stuff. And so it was funny to see, because he went against everything we organized. But now he's running and jumping. He's one of the most social cow. When we open to the public, we need to be careful, because he really wants to play with people, and he jump on people, and that's scary. So yeah, this is the first one that came in my mind, but really we can tell many. Of course, you see also those kind of things. We have also the video of this moment, and yeah, he had with this. He had an expression for a long time, like saying, "What are you doing?" He was annoyed, but he didn't move, and the horse was staying there and playing with him. Yeah, you see those moments all the time. Yeah, it's interesting.
I think time for questions is up, but I invite you to visit Capra Libera Tutti, because it's an amazing place. I've been there myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.